Something has changed. City businesses delighted by diluted Brexit but demand more. The heads of two leading business groups in Britain have welcomed Theresa May's softer Brexit approach but insisted that more compromise must be made to the business community. Leaders of two of Britain's biggest business groups have welcomed the recent turn away from hard Brexit towards a soft Brexit. However, the Mark Cherry, chairman of the Federation of Small Businesses, FSB, and Kristen Miss Hall, of City UK, have demanded that even more compromise must be made. Speaking to BBC Radio 4's Today programme, the business pair were delighted in the shift in tone towards a transitional agreement with the EU. This will come as a victory for pro-EU activists who want to keep access to the single market and the customs union for as long as possible. Theresa May invited business leaders to Downing Street this week to reassure them that they would not face a cliff edge scenario. This came amid warnings that the City of London could hemorrhage jobs unless Mrs May clarified her exit strategy in order to be ready for the March 2019 deadline. Companies would need to enact contingency plans by the end of this year. Following talks, ministers began talking about a transitional deal of 3 years after the Brexit process, where businesses would abide by EU laws for a sustained period of time. Officials close to the Brexit negotiations say Mrs May will accept an extension of free movement, and that EU citizens should be able to work freely in Britain after exit in 2019. Miss Hall said, "There has absolutely been a change. The renewed commitment to an early transitional deal is welcomed. However, we need much more. We need to know that ministers do not just favour, but can guarantee the transitional deal so city firms do not move people out of London." Mr Cherry said, "The small businesses are the most vulnerable to a cliff edge scenario, and have least resources to deal with this. A Brexit cliff edge on EU trade, without a transition period, would risk damage to economy and prices. We ought to have 3 years in transition from the EU. We need the European market to be as open and accessible as possible." Another business executive at the meeting, Paul Palmer, chief of Ulva, said a longer transition period was becoming more realistic. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and don't forget to subscribe English News Hub for new excited videos.